How can Patrick Tambay be underrated when clearly he had a successful spell in Formula One, you ask? You didn't ask, but I'm going to answer anyway. Well, the man isn't mentioned in the same breath as other great drivers for the time, and whilst he was no Senna or Prost, he did race for McLaren and Ferrari, taking 2 race wins and a large crash at Monaco. He was more unlucky than unsuccessful, but let's take a look at the Parisian's Formula One career. In 1975 and 1976, he had some mild success in European Formula 2, finishing second and third in the standings respectively. His first real success was winning the Can-Am Championship in 1977 with the Haas racing team in the Lola T333 CS Chevrolet. Also in 1977, he made his Formula One debut with the Surtees team, failing to qualify for the French Grand Prix, as the Surtees team worked its way through drivers the way a fat kid gets through crisps. The Theodore Racing team saw something in Tambay as they entered Formula One halfway through the 1977 season. With an Ensign car and a Cosworth engine, Tambay did well. 2 fifth places and a 6th meant the brand new team scored 5 points. Not bad for half a season. Tambay was even running third in the Dutch Grand Prix before running out of fuel. These good results attracted the attention of McLaren, and in 1978 Tambay partnered former champion James Hunt. However, results were poor. The Lotus ground effect cars dominated. Tambay would end the 1978 season 14th in the final standings with 8 points. Pretty pathetic for a team that had recently won the championship. A best finish of 4th in Sweden and 5th in Italy offset the 5 retirements, and he finished on the exact same points as teammate Hunt. Tambay stuck it out with McLaren in 1979, and the year was even worse, scoring no points. The McLaren car was described as ghastly, a disaster, and quite diabolical. Tambay failed to qualify for 2 races and retired from a further 8. A best finish of 7th at the British Grand Prix. Teammate John Watson did slightly better, scoring 15 points. Tambay would skip 1980 in favour of winning the Can-Am Championship a second time, but would return in 1981 with the Theodore Racing team, desperately trying to make lightning strike twice. Not being a lucky man, he scored 1 point in the first race in America, didn't qualify in Belgium, and decided to jump to the French Ligier team halfway through the season. Results didn't improve, retiring from every race and crashing into Gilles Villeneuve in Zandvoort, and having a massive crash at the season closer at Caesars Palace. He missed the first half of the 1982 championship until Ferrari came calling. Patrick Tambay would replace close friend Gilles Villeneuve after the latter's shocking death in qualifying at Zolder. Incidentally, Tambay is Jacques Villeneuve's godfather. The move would prove to be successful, getting his first podium at the British Grand Prix and his first win at the German Grand Prix. Tambay would miss 2 races due to injury that year, but even though he only entered 6 races, he finished 7th in the championship. He would return with Ferrari in 1983, taking a second win at Imola, in front of the Tifosi. 4 other podiums saw him finish 4th in the final standings, his best year in Formula One. Ferrari would, however, drop Tambay in 1984, and the Frenchman would race for Renault, which is very fitting. He would get a second place in France behind Lauda, but the Renault was no longer competitive, as in previous years, and he ended the season 11th. He stayed for Renault's final year in 1985, but apart from a couple of podiums early on in the season, results dwindled, as did Tambay's hopes, and he finished 12th. Tambay's final roll of the dice in Formula One saw him reunite with Carl Haas, with whom he won both Can-Am titles, and the new Haas Lola team. Nothing to do with the modern Haas team, confusingly. Honestly, it's selfish, they could have chosen a different name. An unremarkable season apart from a crash in Monaco that almost saw him swimming in the harbour, and points in Austria saw Tambay finish his career with 2 points and 15th in the final standings. Having said that, Tambay did qualify 8th at Monaco and did show signs of speed for a small team. However, he didn't do much after Formula 1. He had finished 4th at Le Mans in 1989 in a Silk Cut Jaguar, compete in a few Paris-Dakar rallies, finishing in the top 3 twice, and he is now often a pundit on French Formula 1 coverage. It's not the most stellar career in Formula 1, especially as he had seasons with McLaren, Ferrari and Renault, but he was at those teams when they were not anywhere near competitive. 2 wins, 11 podiums, 5 poles and 103 points is not a bad return. Patrick Tambay is underrated. His son Adrian is just plain rubbish. That's all for this one. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll be back with more content soon. Have a good one.